folks, this is Samuel George with the Bertelsmann Foundation. I'm here in Lorain County, Ohio as part of our 2024 election coverage. One thing I can tell you off the bat is it's very cold here. It's still very cold. Folks are still bundled up, walking around in coats. It was snowing earlier, so definitely still feeling winter. And we're ready to talk about what's going on with the elections here. Now, Ohio, once upon a time, was like a quintessential swing state. It really could go either way. It could go Republican, it could go Democrat, and whoever was able to pull it off was gonna have a pretty good path to the presidency. Now here we're talking about like 2004, John Kerry versus George W. Bush. I actually voted in Ohio in that election. I had to wait in a line for 9 hours just to vote. There was television crews, everything coming down to cover it because people were really looking at it as a place that would decide the election. Bush ended up winning Ohio that year, and in fact, he ended up winning the election. You take a look at Barack Obama. Obama won Ohio twice, he won the election twice. So Ohio was once sort of this key deciding factor in the election. But times have changed a little bit. Ohio is still a very important electoral piece. It's got 17 electoral votes, so it's worth a lot as a big state, but it's not really seen so much as a swing state. It's now more seen as a solid Republican bet. We're talking about a state that's gone twice in a row for Donald Trump, both times by a margin of about 8 percentage points. You know, that's not a blowout, but that's not exactly a close election either. And the expectation is that Trump is going to win here again. According to the website 538, he's holding about a 10% lead in polls. And that's going to be a very difficult decision for Biden. You know, how much is he going to contest this election? Does he see a pathway to victory here? Is it worth the resources that it would cost to try to be competitive here? So you might ask, well, why is Trump so successful in Ohio? The demographics here are very favorable to him. You look at a place like Mahoning County, you got a lot of white working class people, a lot of older people. You got less foreign born, less college educated, lower incomes. Those are demographics that are really going to trend in Donald Trump's favor here in Ohio. Now, one interesting race to keep an eye on here is in the Senate. The Democrats are going to run Sherrod. The guy's been a senator since 2006. He's a pretty liberal guy. He's managed to maintain support in the unions. That's something that's been very difficult for Democrats in these Midwestern states. According to the New York Times, he's actually the last remaining statewide Democrat to hold office here in Ohio. Now, meanwhile, the Republicans are going to run a guy named Morneo. He's a wealthy car salesman. He just won the Republican primary on March 19th. This is a guy that's backed by Trump. He's totally supportive of Trump, very loyal to Trump, and he pretty easily beat what you might call more traditional Republicans. This is really a sign that, you know, Trumpism is taking hold here in Ohio. Now, look, that Senate election is incredibly important. We're talking about a Senate majority that's going to be decided on a razor-thin edge. So this is a critical election to keep an eye on, one Democrats believe they can be competitive in. Senator Brown is very well funded, he's ready for the fight, and it's clear that Moreno is going to give it to him. And that's where the real drama is going to come here in Ohio over the next couple of months.